Ready to a Cardinal House AMA. Today we got a pretty special trading software, Alchemy Trades, with us. It is currently Thursday, October 6th, and we are going to get right into the rapid fire questions. So if you guys are ready, then we can jump right in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these are also open to the audience as well. So if you head up one channel to the AMA polls questions, you can vote on which ones that you prefer as well. So you can cast your votes. But first question, sweet or sour?
Sour.
Okay. Okay. Any particular
I mean,
reason why?
both are fine. Uh, Sour is just better in my opinion, but I'm not gonna say no to sweet.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. I unfortunately have a really bad case of the sweet tooth.
Fair enough. That would do it too.
All right, Polygon or Ethereum for a 5-year hold? Austin, you can
I
chip in on
mean,
this too if you'd like.
yeah, my answer would be neither, but if I had to pick, probably Polygon. I don't think the merge is going to help Ethereum that much.
Okay. How about Bitcoin or Ethereum for a 5-year hold?
Um, I would say Bitcoin, just because again, I think Ethereum 2.0 is not going to be as good as they think it's going to be. Just my personal opinion, not really based on anything, just my opinion.
All right. No, I think I agree with you to a lot of extents. Austin, how about you?
I would definitely say Polygon. I mean, I'm a really big fan of Polygon, and it's not because like I'm a tech nerd that knows the intricacies of the Polygon chain, but I have been noticing a lot of main brands and just a lot of product outreach is being built on Polygon. We've seen that as far as like A-list brands, right? We've seen Starbucks, we've seen Disney partnering with Polygon to do products and stuff. So I think in the future we may see a lot of that type of stuff being built on Polygon. So that'd be really cool. So I'm
Also, they can
long
get
term
their
bullish.
network fixed.
Oh yeah, super quick, cheap.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Polygon has got some pretty interesting partnerships. I know they've like this past couple of months they've just been releasing partnership after partnership with like major
Oh yeah.
companies. So definitely exciting times for them. Next question, Shark Tank or Dragon's Den?
Either. I mean, they're both good. If you want to watch some British people talk about investing and buying stuff, then Dragon's Den. If you want to watch American people, then Shark Tank.
Fair enough. Fair enough. How about you, Austin?
Honestly, I would say Shark Tank, but obviously that's biased because I'm American. But and it's just a big culture thing, right? But like in the Shark's Den, I don't know. It's really dry humor, which that kind of pairs with like that type of culture. But I just think it's more funny, and we end up seeing a lot more like why is this even on Shark Tank like type of stuff on Shark Tank. Whereas on the Shark's Den, they're just like ruthless, even though they're ruthless sometimes on Shark Tank, but I think it's a more funny ruthless. They're a little more serious on the Den one.
Yeah,
The
just a
ones that
little
I've
bit.
seen.
Yeah.
I asked this to Brent yesterday. Does Dragon's Den do they have their like British version of Kevin O'Leary that just roasts all of the guys that come
There
on?
there is
I've seen
one.
Kevin O'Leary on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin. He's been on some, but there is a guy I forgot his name. Super, just like Kevin O'Leary though, like just ruthless man, no emotion.
I got to do my research on Dragon's Den. Next question is: do you eat mac and cheese with a fork or a spoon?
Orc, because I'm not crazy.
Nice. I like this AMA. I'm bullish.
I never understood it, man. If you scoop it
Let's
with
hear
the
it, Zach.
fork,
Let's hear your
if you
answer because I
scoop
already
it with
know
the
it.
fork, it's just gonna spill off the edge, you know.
No, it's not. Not if you have good quality mac and cheese, not
No,
the
but okay.
soupy mac
But
and
I
cheese.
don't scoop it. I stab it. I can't stab with a spoon.
How about like Kraft mac and cheese when the noodles are like tiny.
I mean,
So you
who's
can
eating
stab
Kraft
it.
mac and cheese in the first place? That's
I
the
Next
real
still would
question.
shit.
stab
Next
it though. Still
question.
stab it.
What has been the biggest lesson you have learned in the past year?
I mean, in DeFi and just in general in life, is just the being who you are, being what you're, what you're supposed to be, and not, alchemy trades just in general was something that we didn't know if we could do it at first, but we just kept going, kept trying. We launched V3, but that was because there was a V1 and a V2 that never made it live because we didn't know if it worked. We spent probably 3 months before it went live trying to just build through it, and there's those frustrations of, hey, is this working? Is this worth my time? But if you believe in it, then to keep pushing through it.
Got it. Perseverance is it's definitely an important skill set to have. I like it. How about you, Austin?
Man, if I could just pick one, I guess maybe it'd be like knowing how to thrive in a world of uncertainty if when it comes to like crypto. Oh, there we go. Sorry, someone just tried to call me. But like so many things happen where you can do all the research you want. You can have the most confident team in the world, but something could still go wrong, because they're just such new things. So it's like being able to like risk manage all that stuff kind of comes into that one umbrella of just being able to still thrive in an uncertainty world. And if you can make it on the other side to the next bull run, it's going to be pretty lucrative for you.
Yeah, yeah, that's very true. I think for me, one of my biggest lessons is everybody's heard the saying, like, you become the average of the 10 closest people you spend the most time with, right? But putting that into practice is a whole different beast to tackle, and learning who do you actually want to become more like, and really those mentorship figures in your life. I think learning how to find those people has been a
Yeah,
phenomenal
align
lesson.
yourself with those better people that you want around.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's one big takeaway I've had over the last even just few months. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, let's get into Alchemy Trades. So if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your background in trading, and then give us a 10,000-foot overview for what Alchemy Trades is, and then we can kind of dive into the nitty gritty of things from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been around crypto for probably 7, 8 years. I started mining. At one point, I had up to an 18 GPU going miner, and then found DeFi probably about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So was been around, been around DeFi, been around the different chains. Was I've made money, lost money, like everyone has. Um, and so we got to the point where the bear market is, this big crash happened, the big bear market, and Serge and I were just kind of sitting, going, we'd been experimenting with some grid trading on, CEXs and all those things, and we realized, why does this not exist on DeFi? Like, why can you not? DeFi is incredibly volatile. It moves up and down like crazy, which is exactly what you want for these grid trades. Why does this not exist anywhere? And so we just kind of sent out on ourselves. It started with just something for us to have, for us to play with, and then we started working with each other and working on it, and other people became interested, and we realized this is something that DeFi needs and something that we can produce. It started as just being grid trading, but we're constantly expanding, constantly growing to new aspects of it, new features that we were adding, and just trying to we're trying to provide a tool set or a tool suite for DeFi in general that just makes trading easier, makes getting into DeFi easier, and just helps you maximize your gains, while instead of just simply holding and hoping, actually using your money for your own your own wealth.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I think the elephant in the room for this question is, what even is grid trading and how does it work? Why does volatility matter for it? And I guess all of
Yes.
those questions for somebody that hasn't ever heard of grid trading.
Yeah, so grid trading is a form of algorithmic trading which to break that down is essentially the software takes the parameters you give it, and it will just trade day and night based on these parameters. So for grid trading, essentially what you're doing is you're setting the upper limit and a lower limit of a range, and then you're dividing that range into different grids based on just your own personal settings, price, and stuff like that. And so it's essentially doing an algorithmic version of buy low, sell high. When the price goes, what goes down a grid, it's going to buy more of the token, and when it goes up a grid, it sells it back for profit. The benefit of grid trading versus doing it yourself is A, you don't have to sit at your computer all day. You can just set it and let it run. B, you don't have to try to time it. You don't have to hope that you find the right times. It just, the minute that price triggers, it buys. The minute the price triggers, it sells. And so it's the benefit of having a non-emotional trade. There's no emotion into should I buy, should I sell, should I buy? Nope. The algorithm says I'm doing this, so this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And I guess going into Alchemy Trades and how you set up a grid there, I know that you can set your own grid lines and kind of set those parameters yourselves. How does that aspect of it fit into profitability and I guess how do you know what grids to set?
Yeah, so we have a aspect that we put in called profit card, which it's taking the Dex fees, the gas price of the chain and everything. And so our software won't let you start a grid that will not profit in the long run. It won't let you make one where it buys low, sells high, but gas and fees overcome that. That's just not something it lets you do. So we won't let you put in the amount of tokens that you want or the amount of grids that you want just arbitrarily. It's set in for protection for you, so you can't do it. And then we have an entire subsection of our Discord that it's all full of sharing tokens, sharing strategies. There's a vast multitude of strategies. Sometimes it's worth it running as many grids as you can. Sometimes it's worth running less. And that's something the community and us we're all figuring out together. Because it is kind of just an up in the air strategy. It's not like this is the definitive. You have to do it this way. It's kind of a risk. How much you want to risk, how much you want your potential gains to be. There's lots of factors that go into it.
Got it. Yeah, and welcome to the stage, Sergey. Nice to have you.
Hey guys, apologize. I'm still out driving a bit, but here I am. I'm sure Alchemy is holding down the fort for me.
Yeah, he's holding it down good. Another question I have as far as the tokens itself that it's trading, is there a specific type of token that you want to trade with the grid trading strategy?
So yeah, absolutely. So right now we only have it set up for taxless tokens. We are potentially looking into ways to add in more tax-based tokens, but just simply the fact that that it increases your grid range when if it's 10% buy, 10% sell, you have to have a significant movement just to break even. So right now we focus mainly on the tax ones, but again we have an entire subsection of our Discord that if you are a bot owner gets access to, where we have spreadsheets of tokens that people are watching. And we have, they're rated by, this one is good. This is a degen one where you're potentially going to make a lot of money, but you could potentially lose it all. And then there's tokens like AVAX USDC that I run pretty much nonstop. It's smaller gains. I only average about like 0.5% a day, but they're stable 0.5% a day that I make.
Yeah, only 0.5% a day.
I know, right? Well, and that's exactly right. Essentially, any token that doesn't have a tax that's available on any of the dexes we've integrated with is open for trading. Now, whether that token is optimal, right? It all depends on if it's swinging. And that's where kind of the TA comes in and the community support, where we share our experiences, what we think we might, trade on ourselves, or what we have traded on in the last few minutes. What was the hottest one, Alchemy? This one that just happened yesterday that everyone... jumped on at the right time.
Yeah, ACC, but we had 2 or 3 members that did 100% gain in under 24 hours using the bot.
Jeez.
And the key difference. So yeah, and just to point out the key difference. Someone pointed out that the token went for a run. It did. That was a big aspect, big help for it. That the token did run. the key difference between the token running in our aspect is ours were completely realized gains. Their 100% was completely realized. So if the token had rug pulled, they would still have had that 100% that they would get to keep because it's realized in USDC. For them, was realized in USDT. So there was no,
Exactly.
they would not lose. There's no, it's not hold and oh no, I've lost everything. It's hold, and if it rug pulls, yeah, that's really awful. No one likes that, but I still have these realized gains.
Yep.
Interesting. Oh, that's super cool. Austin, I saw you unmuted. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah. And before I ask this question, I would like to tell everybody, because I keep seeing new people pop in, because this was one thing I quickly had to learn. Where we're in this like new age of all these different bots and stuff. Alchemy Trades isn't like, a singular strategy or a DeFi project claiming to use bots to provide returns. This is like just basically a software, right? And you can apply this software to whatever strategy sees fit. Because we have seen grid bots used all in centralized exchanges like what Alchemy is, and I'm setting this context up for my question. So for Qcoin, Pionex, a lot of them really, they have those basic grid bots, right, where you can set up a grid bot. It'll you enter your grids and it'll trigger buy and sells depending on when it crosses those grid lines. So for Alchemy Trades, a really big question I was thinking of is, are you all worried about any of your technology being copied, or do you have patents that are maybe pending? Because, like you said, this is something that we haven't seen before in the decentralized world, and I think if you all like protected the technology in some way, shape, or form that's unique to you and proprietary, I think that would be really advantageous.
Yeah, so it's not something that we have. So there are some aspects to it and some aspects not. Grid trading is a generic. I can't patent this is the formula for grid trading. But what we do have is my algorithms, and I say mine just because I'm the one who writes them, that are mathematically, they're backed up by a mathematician that verifies them, that apply specifically to DeFi in general. And there are 3 people that have access to it. It's me, Serge, and another person that we completely trust. And they don't get out. So yeah, someone could copy my front end, someone could copy the idea of grid trading, but there has been lots of Web3 things that Serge and I have essentially, I don't want to say invented, but come up with these specific strategies. I mean, you go, every developer goes to Google and goes, how do I do this? And when I can't find an answer 50 pages in, kind of feels like I'm inventing how you do it.
And I'd like to add on to that. So there's a couple things here. You almost kind of set up this next bit pretty easily. And that is, you had mentioned that there are grid trading bots and other algo bots on central exchanges. And that's absolutely true. And there are no algo bots on DEXs, which is also absolutely true, right? We're the first people to do that. But there's actually some other stuff there that's pretty interesting. I think the way that we've built our community and our philosophy, and that is, if you go on to, let's say, Qcoin, for instance, and you set up a grid strategy, I don't think there's a lot of things there to protect you. They will let you set up failing grids, right? Like a lot of people I know have had trouble setting up algos that are successful. Whereas then we have spent time back testing and saying, okay, at this grid level, it's negative returns out of the gate. At this point, fees are overwhelming. So we're doing everything we can to protect our users from what they don't know yet, right? Or maybe what they're still learning. And then also, I think the big difference here is it's not just about grid trading. Alchemy and our philosophy is we want to apply and create a crypto tool set that you can apply in a lot of different situations, whether it's different algos or it's Dex Caliber. And I don't know if you guys have had a chance to talk about that.
We haven't jumped into that yet, no.
Yeah, but we have other elements that are in Alchemy Trades that augment your ability.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I think that right, what you just said, just to give you everybody a little bit of my personal experience using it thus far. I have used Qcoin grid bots before when I was still very clueless on this stuff, and then comparing it to this, Like I have set up ranges for different pairs that I was playing with for the first day or two using Alchemy, and it'll even pop you up a little message, right? It'll say like, we have not found any profitable grids. You got to change your settings, and then when you change your settings, it'll even show you when it does find profitable grids. It'll say, you know, for every one grid, it'll make you 50 cents or $1 or whatever. So it's really cool that you all have that. So my next question before I hand the mic back over to Zach would be, you all kind of accidentally stumbled upon creating Optimus, which is a very popular pair, kind of like in a mini stable coin, like an algo stable coin, where if you look at the chart, it's very, very sideways. And obviously we see a little bit of uptrend given the recent news what they've been doing. But have you all thought about using your technology, not really kind of like what Horde is doing with like an LMS, but have you made these accidental discoveries that you've done and maybe worked out some type of potential partnership or additional revenue stream for you all just as a business where you can use this for what's basically happening, where you're creating a stable coin just from people grid trading it?
Yeah, so we have a couple things. So a lot of things we do are just kind of by accident. We didn't expect that when we had the giant bot army go over to OPT's chart, that it was just going to stabilize the price immensely. But after finding that, it became a talk of, okay, do we pivot? Not pivot, but do we then go to other projects and go, hey, we have a strategy that it's not. I mean, I'm never going to guarantee anything for anyone, but that potentially is going to stabilize your price. It's going to eat up your big buys, so the price maintains stable, but also eat up your big sells so that it maintains stable. And lets your treasury grow, or your LP or whatever is at the same time. So that that is something we're absolutely looking at. We have other things. We're looking at a potential a service to if you're not someone who feels incredibly comfortable running your own bot, to be able to come to us or a partner of ours, and just have a bot as a service specifically with our bots where you receive your returns back via using the service.
In case you guys missed that, that's some bleeding edge alpha right there. This is never before released info. And I'm going to touch on that again, but just quickly to finish answering your question. One of the things we are doing right now with our partners is we're working with them so they can use Alchemy Trades as an investment mechanism for their treasury. And so right now we're partnered with Rebellion and Rain, and we're working closely with their inner circle to give them optimal support for Alchemy Trades, and therefore to give them another stream of income. But back to the first point, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about this at the end. But if anyone's not listening, listen now. If you are not comfortable with the technology, no matter how approachable, like we try to make this trading strategy, if it's just not something that you feel comfortable doing, but you look forward to maybe taking advantage of that investment stream, we're looking at a partnership right now.
Nice. So, like basically where somebody could invest just in you all as a whole as a business, right? And then maybe potentially open up a stream of income that way. Is that what
Correct.
you mean?
Yep. I mean, I don't want to give the exact,
we can't speak specific.
there is information coming up, but yeah, essentially, providing capital to be traded on your behalf, and then instead, the biggest difference between this and what I want to say between like OPT and stable fund is that it would not be any set guaranteed. Like I'm not going to guarantee 1.5%. It could be 0% a week. You could make 30% a week. And you receive your allotment of the total every pay period. So it's not a stable 1.5%, and just because that's not realistic even for stable fund or anyone. And nothing against them. I don't know how their things work, but just simply, we're never going to guarantee any amount of returns, that either through our projects, our partners, or our product itself. It's a tool that you can use, but you still need to be able to use the tool. The tool it doesn't just make money appear.
Yeah. And one thing I would caveat that with is while we're looking at we are against flatly promising a return because the market is what the market is. We're also not keen on putting a cap. So if the market performs better than we anticipated, that profit is passed on.
Gotcha. No, that's super awesome alpha. So for everybody in the audience, you guys just heard some top secret information.
That's right. More to come probably in the next week, but that we haven't released that anywhere. Not even our most OG alchemists knew about this kind of side project that we're currently working on with partners.
Awesome. I've got a couple questions about I guess the max size that you can use in one of these accounts. Like I know, obviously the bigger trade that you have on a Dex, the higher the price impact is. Is there ever a point where that gets to be too much and it just affects the profitability of your trades? Or I guess is there a max size that you suggest?
It's within reason. Yes, there is price impact, and we're actually working on a price impact calculator that would tell you specifically. I mean, we have it, but building it into the software itself that will tell you, hey, your price impact is too much for this grid. We have a site where you can go see it. However, what it comes down to is if you keep expanding your range of your grid, maybe so AVAX, if it was 2010, and then all of a sudden you made your grid 3010, your price per grid becomes less. But there is a point, and it depends on the token as well, where the max you can use is just too volatile. Like if you were trading AVAX USDC, you could, your per grid could be $10,000 because that doesn't move AVAX very much because their LP is just so massive. Versus an OPT, if you put $10,000 into OPT, that price is going to shoot up, 3, 4, 5%, which is going to cause your own cells to come back into play.
Long story short, yes, we're measuring it. We're building in the warning, similar to Profit Guard. So when you would start it off, it would say, based on this, the impact is too high. So that way, that information is provided to the user and you're armed. But like Alk said, it also depends on what you're trading. We have people trading 10,000, 20,000, on stables without, these huge price impacts because the liquidity is so high. So it certainly depends on your investment level and your target. And it kind of is almost a different strategy sometimes when you get into these bigger numbers, these bigger investment numbers. But we do have a group of people, I guess unofficially, these are whales, who are trading with large sums. And we make sure that they're all connected so that they can continue to share strategies that might differ from your average investor.
Got it. That makes sense. And Alchemy, I think you mentioned the expanding the range of the grids as you increase your lot size so you can make up for that price impact. What are the risks involved with expanding a range? Let's say you find the optimal range. What are the risks if you shrink it, and what are the risks if you expand it?
So there honestly aren't very many risks. It's more of what you are looking to get out of. So if your expanded grid, if there's a larger range between your two targets, that just means that any inner volatility between those two targets doesn't get triggered. Like it could go almost up to your grid and then fall all the way back down and then go all the way up and still not touch it, and just no trades have happened because it hasn't passed your grid marks. Versus making it smaller, you get those inner grid plays. Because they're just closer together. But it becomes more of a, there's not a, it's not a, you should only do small or you should only do big. It's, just a matter of, do you want it, what's the token doing? Does the token make big moves up, but they're pretty stable big moves up? Or does it, go up 3%, down 2%, up 1%, down 6%, like over and over? And, then you would want closer grids so you're constantly hitting all those different targets.
We already briefly talk over grid trading. Are we confident that like people know what ranges and grids are? Yes. Okay, good. I just want to make sure because not everybody knows that stuff. And like Alchemy said, exactly. There's different strategies for different things, and there's strategies even for running two bots of your money on the same coin, right? One in a tighter range for that close volatility, and then one in a larger range for when the price maybe spikes. So there's that's kind of like advanced strategies, and obviously you have to have the investment level to pull that off. But there's kind of some general guidelines that we start people with when it comes to just how to set up your strategy to get you going. And then obviously we all share our strategies. Like I will specifically say, this is my upper, this is my lower, this is my grid, this is my investment.
When I ran
and this is
OPT, I ran
for me.
1-5, 1-4, 38 grids. I will tell
Right.
every single person in chat what my strats are because it doesn't make a difference if you know what mine are. My play is my play and your play is yours. It's not. They're very, unless you become a group of traders that is trading more than 50% of the total volume, there's not really any downside to having a group collective.
Got it. No, that's super interesting stuff, and I'm still trying to wrap my mind around the whole concept of grid trading and why it's so effective. It's super interesting.
Sure. No, you're right. Dad, I see you in chat. Will you drop the GIF in the AMA questions for them?
And
Wait,
if
so
I could,
I'll go right ahead.
just real quick, because I was very confused as well on what in the world grid trading was a few days ago, and because everybody knows I use multiple different types of bots, and I'm running a huge experiment right now. And with some of the bots that I use in comparison to something like Alchemy, with the grid stuff, is if you have a bot that just does a singular strategy, where kind of like what Alchemy was saying at the beginning, where when your bot buys something and then now you're holding it, and now if it's say a scalper or a shorting or whatever, you have to hold that asset and then wait for that bot to then exit to get your profit. For something like grid trading, is depending on how many grids you have, and it's on that field, as soon as it passes whatever grid you have set within that price range, it'll then buy, and then once it surpasses that next grid, it'll then sell. So your grids are always in like some type of trade, and more times than not, when I go to check, right, is if the parameters are good, nothing's crazy, you've already realized some profit without even like holding on to the bag, kind of thing. If that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, and that's one of the key things that I intended, was that DeFi in general is so much of, well, you got to hold this, you got to hold it until you die, you got to hold it till you die. But with grid trading, I'm still holding the token, but I'm not putting as much of my capital at risk because I'm varying amounts I'm buying. And then I'm constantly trading it and making profits. So even if I want to end my bot and leave the amount of, say I'm trading OPT, I want to leave the amount of OPT I have in there because I still believe it's going to go up, then sure, I'll leave it there. But I'm still inter-trading between it and making realized gains that are exactly that. They're realized gains that are in your wallet that if the token goes to zero tomorrow, those realized gains are still yours.
I'll also point out, this is only one algo. We have so many more algorithms to add to this, since this is a software suite. So yeah, grid trading is awesome, and we're doing really good with it, even in this market. But there will be other algos that can be applied in different situations.
Got it. We actually do have a question in the audience from Render. He asked, will there be other trading strategies besides the already known ones, or maybe an intelligent bot that decides itself based on market situation what kind of trade it will make?
Yeah, so we're working on there's grid tradings. There's different variations of grid tradings that we're going to add. I'm working on what I call the DeFi index fund, which is essentially you select the tokens you want, and every hour it's going to rebalance back to the same ratio that you owned, just to increase your exposure across those different tokens. But yeah, we constantly have new things, and we're also extremely open to the community. Like a lot of what has rolled out has been the community saying, hey, is this something we could have? And I'd be like, hey, if I can do it, I'll do it. Someone today asked me for trailing stop loss on if they're going to run a degen coin because there's a chance of it just bottoming out. I went, sure, I can add that. I mean, it might be a week or two till I get around to it while I'm working through our other major updates, but I absolutely add, if the community needs something to do, I'll add it.
I think on the top of our list, besides trailing stop, which is pretty high on the list, there's auto compounding and limit buys or limit orders are really some of our two hot ones that are coming down the pipe soon, next 1 to 2 weeks.
Cool. Yeah, I think limit orders would be super awesome, especially for grid trading. If you set a grid, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but you kind of already know where those limit orders would be placed.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
grid
so
trading, I think the optimal there, and I'll just say this real quick. I think the optimal is the entry point, right? We can set a limit order so that it comes in at a good number, whatever that number is that you decide, and so it's more optimal there. But go ahead, Al.
Oh yeah, but something we haven't even talked about yet is another feature we have, which is called Dex Caliber, which is Serge calls it our hyperdex. It's essentially a re-envisioning of the front end of alt dexes. Everyone's been on Trader Joe, everyone's on PancakeSwap, where it takes 60 seconds to open MetaMask. It takes 30 seconds for it to find the LP. There's, the chart updates every 10 minutes, so you can't really see what the current price is. And we've taken all of that and rewrapped it into to our version, where you're still trading on your respective decks. You still want to trade on Trader Joe. It's still trading on that respective decks, but it's we've calculated about 2 to 3 times faster than just trading on Trader Joe or trading on PancakeSwap or anything like that. Just because we eliminate all that in between with a server, that's overloaded with how many people are trading on it and all that, and it's simply run locally on your computer directly to the blockchain access. And so, some of the limit orders is simply putting, hey, I want to buy AVAX when it gets to this price. I go to Dex Caliber, I put in, I want to buy AVAX at this price, and then it just sits there and it will buy when it gets to that. I mean, that's the intent. It's not implemented yet, but the intent is that it just buys when it gets to that price. And we pull that off versus a bog swap or some of these other things because they don't update frequently. Their updates are every 30 seconds, every minute. MetaMask updates its GUI counter or its gas counter like every 60 seconds. We do ours every single block, so every 3 seconds that comes in, you get a new price update.
Got it. That sounds
Yep,
super
and we're able to
slick.
do this we're able to do this in a way because of the distributed computing. So, without going super nerdy, when we talk about like these centralized or with these dexes, they are centralized. They have web servers, they have proxies, they have all these things that are constantly being used, have the certain amount of people on at all times, and they're overloaded basically. So by being able to do this all locally on your computer and submit to the blockchain immediately, not only are you getting faster, more accurate data, you're getting faster transactions, and we're not charging any fees for limits. So you can do this and not pay max gas plus fee for a failed transaction on BogSwap.
Yeah, and what was the Dex's name again? I think this may or may not be a Kahoot question for those of you paying attention.
So we call it our community named it. It's called Dex Caliber.
Yep.
Got it. Well, there you go, guys. If you're listening in, then keep note of that. And then on the topic of fees, do you guys have any additional fees outside of the initial licensing software fee?
We don't. There's the only reason we would ever have any additional fees would be potentially in the future if we came up with something that essentially could be its own standalone that we would just incorporate. But really, the intent is that you buy your license, and whatever updates come out, and they're given to you. That's kind of the reason why we have the people that have been around longest know that it started cheaper. We've now bumped it up to 500. So as features come out, you may have a price increase for the new potential buyers. But anyone who's bought it and has it, everything that comes out, these buy limits, these sell limits, anything like that, that's just provided to you, just for simply owning the bot at any point in time.
Yeah, it's part of the lifetime license. And really, if I were to try and narrow it down, I would say that our plan is basically all future algos and most quality of life upgrades will be included in your lifetime license. So no additional fee. You're already a member. We roll it out. You get the new stuff. As Alk had said, we do kind of have some ideas that are bigger that could potentially be their own software suite. But we want them to integrate. And so something like that, which would be totally optional, would be add-ons, is kind of what we're calling them. And our first one was going to be the index fund, but we decided to go ahead and include that in the lifetime license, just as a reward to our community, for all the support that we've been getting, and just mostly because it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, we understand that there is some profit for us. Like, I mean, that's how businesses work. But we're not here to bleed anyone dry. I'm not here to gouge anyone. You know,
Hold up, you guys are making money.
very minimal, very minimal.
Yeah.
I had one final question for you guys, and then I'm good. Is as far as the security aspect, right? Because one main difference between you all and some of these bots that we have online and stuff, where you just pay a subscription, this one you actually have to download it onto your computer, or your virtual computer, whatever, and then you have to put in a private key of a wallet, so that way that bot can trade on your behalf. So if someone that was new wanted to use this and they were kind of weary of that, could you speak on just the security aspect of, like, if someone was worried about maybe you being hacked, right? And now your website, your bot has access to all these wallets. Like, could you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm gonna let Serge do it, mainly because that's what Serge does as a day job. His job is is this. So we have it actual very thorough. Him and I will talk and be like, hey, is there any risk in doing this? But I'll let him talk about specifically, the aspects of the specifics.
Yep. So, and just as Alchemy said, I'm a cybersecurity architect as my day job. And so, yeah, that's a big focus for me. And when you deal with cybersecurity or security in any way, you're really looking at risk and risk management. So there's a lot of things we have going for us. For example, none of the information that you plug in is brought back to a centralized location. We have no phone home. We have no insight into what's being done there. So it's yours. We say your bot, your wallet, your money. We encourage all of our users to create a separate wallet, not only for our products, but for all crypto projects. And, we try and provide good security practices and guidance for our community by sharing things like places to check for honeypots and just other crypto good stuff to have. What else?
To the extent that Surge has sat down with users and firewalled off every single website except for the blockchain and our license company, and show them, and he's willing to do it with other people, is just showing them, hey, this is your incoming, this is your outgoing traffic. There is literally nothing other than blockchain calls and a one-time call when you start the bot to our licensing software company. That they don't even have access to any of the backend. That's just we send the license address to them, and they send back yes or no. But there is you could sit there and just watch it, and there's no other transaction or no other traffic on on your internet except for those calls directly to the blockchain.
Yep, that's right. We did do that, actually. We had someone come, found us through Twitter early on too. I'm going to say before we had even launched V4, and they had concerns, and that's good. You should have questions and concerns when your money's involved, when computers are involved. But that's exactly right. We locked it down. We did traffic inspection. If there are people that have those skill sets and want to do that, you can do that today. The software has a demo mode built in now, so you can download it and launch it without a license and simulation, and you can try and inspect it. You can do whatever you like. It's there, right? It's there to be tested, and I would definitely be happy to answer any questions or security questions that people might have.
Yeah, no, I like it. That's very interesting. I think the big point there is if you create a separate wallet, even if you guys are fraudulent or any other crypto project ends up being fraudulent, then only that wallet gets compromised, and that's
the biggest. So for people, that's the one thing we do. For people that don't know, a private key is different than your seed phrase. Your seed phrase on MetaMask gives you access to every single wallet that you have inside of that MetaMask account, where a private key is only for that one designated address that you give it. So if you are leery about it, we would totally recommend it to create a separate account, throw as little as you are willing to lose in it, and even, again, we're not fraudulent. That's not what we are. But I understand the skepticism, especially with DeFi. That if that were to happen, that's the only thing that we would have access to is that one specific wallet. It's not your entire MetaMask account. And
I would say
I'll also preference that the reason we need your private key, just so people are aware why you need it, is by using your private key, it allows us to bypass the approval function needed on MetaMask. So you don't have to sit at your computer and push approve every time a trade happens. We're able to bypass that and essentially approve the private key will approve on your behalf, so the trades can happen automatically for you.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much of an algo if you had to sit in front of your computer and hit the button every few minutes. But yeah, just as Alchemy said, every blockchain transaction needs to be digitally signed. And when MetaMask asks you for approval or any other mechanism, that's what you're doing. You're digitally signing it and saying, yes, this is an authorized transaction. And so by providing that private key to the bot is able to then make those transactions on your behalf. And so it's like proxying for you in this separate wallet.
Got it. Makes sense. And I got one last question before we move on to the Kahoot and some audience questions. And that is, when you're trading, the nature of DeFi is, some people make money, some people lose money. And if Alchemy trading, if that bot is making money, who is losing money, or where is that money coming from in that whole process?
It's simply, technically in DeFi, if we get real technical, it's the LP that's paying you out. But in actuality, it's the people that are buying with holding it in mind. And I don't necessarily see that as a problem. If you were buying a project and you believe that it's going to go 10x, then you can buy and hold it on, and that's great. And I've done that before. We've all done that before. But and so you'll get your 10x when that happens. But until then, we're taking those. And there's small profits. We're not taking, it's not like we're taking $200-$300 a trade. The profits are, 2 cents, 3 cents, 5 cents, but they're just happening, 30, 40 times an hour that they add up over time. It's not like we're taking a chart that has a huge, massive buy and then immediately taking the entire buy away with one buy. Like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. I would say if crypto has to be adversarial, really, you're competing against other traders, and we're arming you with things that augment your trades. That's really what it comes down to.
Got it. No, that makes sense. Appreciate the answers. But with that being said, who is ready for this Kahoot? I just dropped a link in the AMA questions channel. I'm going to probably have to spam it a few times because the channel's moving fast. Got a lot of questions.
Yeah, thank you all for all your questions too. Like that, those really do help the AMAs. And if you ask those questions, I'm sure like 2 or 3 other people have the same one.
Yes, that is very true.
And we're the same way in our server. If you have a question about the bot in general or how it operates, I'm not going to tell you the exact. I'm not going to give you the code, but we are. There's no question you can't ask us that. We'll answer the same question 50 times. Maybe we'll eventually make an FAQ for it, so we don't have to answer it 50 times. But the answer will be provided for you. There's nothing that we're sitting around trying to hide or anything.
Yeah, I agree. We want you to make intelligent decisions with the tools that you're being provided, and that means you need to understand how they work.
Yeah, makes sense. We got a couple questions in chat about the name Alchemy. Where did you get the name Alchemy from?
I picked it.
Cough.
No,
so we tell them that story.
What story do you want?
What do we do with crypto coins?
Oh yeah, no. So so people think it's Alchemy Trades, like it's my name trades, but it's actually supposed to be you're turning shit coins into gold with your trades.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's about transmutation, and then we kind of ran with the theme. We have alchemists, are the people that help us, our mods, our apothecaries. We have beta testers, which are warlocks. So we just, we have fun with it.
Yeah, I like it. And another question on the theme from Kurt. He asks, "What are the potions? Are those the licenses?"
So the potions are they're just fun little things that we have. So after you finish your trade, it's just a AI generated art of a potion, and then it just shows you, this is how much you've made in how long of a time frame based on this much count on this as well. It's a fun little thing that we can give to them, but it's also an advertising thing because we encourage them to go put them on Twitter. They're actually designed to be the exact size of a Twitter picture. And just we've paid. We don't believe. I mean, we believe in marketing. Marketing's a thing, but we're not gonna go. We believe the community. Like, I can tell you this is the best product in the world, and you should always use it. But if I tell you that versus 20 people in this audience in chat telling you the same thing, that has way more impact than me just telling you.
Got it.
Yep.
Makes sense.
To show off, I mean, who doesn't want to show off when they had an awesome day? So right now, we manually generate those. So alchemists will maybe put it in a request channel, how their trades went, and we generate it for them. But here soon, we already have the code. It's just a matter of prioritization. When you end your grid trade, it'll automatically be generated locally. So you just be able to share it however you want.
All right. I like it. The Kahoot will start in about 30 seconds. If you guys have never played it, go to audience.ahaslides.com, and then you can type in the room code, which is KN9EM, and the winner of this quiz gets $50. So that we got some stakes in the line. We got a comment from West Easy. He's a customer of Alchemy Trades, and he said he's happy to jump on stage real quick to give his experience. If you guys are open to that or want to entertain that.
Yeah, I mean, yes, we're open to it, to the point that we have an entire channel called Testimonials, where it is unfiltered on thing. You post how you feel about the bot, and it will stay there. I'm not going to touch it. If you hate it, you post it. If you love it, you post it. I'm never going to touch that and make it, manipulate it so it's only good. We want the complete feedback from everyone.
I like it. I like that transparency. And West Easy, welcome to the stage, my man.
Hey,
we'll go
how's it going, guys?
It's going good. We'll go ahead and get the Kahoot started, but yeah, tell us a little bit about your experience with Alchemy Trades.
I just want to do a little quick shout out. I got Lamp had actually shelled it to me in DMs. We're in another group or in another project as well. But anyways, he sent me some info, and I jumped in, kind of did some research. I saw there's a lot of other people, familiar faces, and looked through. I was like, okay, cool. Let me give this a shot. I went on a little bit of a different route than most people will on setting up. I did like a whole VPS, set up like Ubuntu and whatever, and I was having issues. So I opened a ticket, and I just wanted to say as well as as a customer, like Sir J and Alchemy were in there like instantly, were like responding to me. Sir J gave me a bunch of code and like gave me commands to like get everything set up and launching it properly. So that experience from the beginning was just absolutely phenomenal, and just seeing the community and how much everyone is there, like engaging with each other, sharing their grids. Like no one, it's like not competitive. Everyone is like trying to help each other learn. And so the community in general has actually been phenomenal just to be a part of that. And then as far as my results, seeing like evolutions, I mean, literally I've been in it within a week, and there's been like 2 new versions that have been released, which is pretty impressive. And over the last few days, I've kind of found a little bit of a nice sweet spot for myself as far as like grid range and everything. And I think yesterday, over 24 hours, I did 3% on like $2,800. Reset the grid, adjusted that. I'm at like 5.4% right now in like 13 and a half hours. And that's actual like realized like actual wallet balance has gone up 5.42%. So like, yeah, $200 in like 13 hours. So pretty happy. Just want to give that testimony. I just absolutely love what these guys are doing. And yeah. It's really, really fun to be a part of this.
Hey, thank you, man. I appreciate that. We definitely try to make sure that everyone, gets the support they need. But I'm really glad both that you're happy with it, but also, that you're making money. Like at the end of the day, like we're all investors. And so I want to make sure that like everybody's making it,
Yeah, definitely. And again, like the Lamp put me up with Wes. But also again, like just the support in the community is like how fast you guys were able to jump in and just completely went out of your way. Like Sir J didn't have to give me like literally command after command to like figure it out, but he took the time and did that. And I was just like, man, these guys are awesome just for, taking that little extra amount of time just to help people get set up. And help people understand what they're doing. So just wanted to again leave that as last little appreciation there.
Yeah, so Serge and I's one of our philosophies is that superior customer support is part of your purchase. You purchase the
100%.
bot. It's not you bought it from us. We don't need to help you anymore. No, we're here to help you as much as we possibly can. There are some points where it becomes, okay, you need to figure out how to actually use the software. If you don't fully understand it, I can't teach you everything. But if you have a problem where an error is happening or your license isn't working or anything like that, we want to provide that top tier service. And we just, like I said, we believe that that's just part of your purchase. It's a continuous thing that happens after you purchase the bots.
For sure. And so far as a customer, satisfaction guaranteed.
Well, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll jump off.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on. I believe this is the 8th question of the Kahoot. Pocket Aces is in first place so far by 4 points. So still got a few questions left. See if he can maintain the lead, but it's going.
I don't think Pocket should be allowed to win since he helped you write the answers.
Did he?
Yeah, he's been pretty integral to our community. He jumped out like real quick, asked a lot of questions, and then started helping just get everyone kind of aligned. So a lot of appreciation to Pocket and his support, his videos, etc. But yeah, I think he's disqualified.
Oh man, sorry to hear that, Pocket Aces.
He's in the lead now, anyways.
All right, Keith taking the lead. But yeah, we do have a couple other audience questions. One interesting one was from Render. He asked, "Is there an ETA for the cloud solution for the bot?"
So there is a couple solutions for it. So we had a community member that has written up an entire walkthrough about setting up a VPS. So if you want to run it locally,
Does he mean the alpha? Do you mean the alpha? Or running it on a VPS?
I don't know. If it's the alpha, imagine next week, if that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about running the cloud, like your bot yourself in the cloud, then check out my Discord, and it already exists. Someone's written a very thorough walkthrough that will get you all set up with that.
And a thank you to the community. That one was Perkmeister, I believe, wrote that just from his own personal experience setting it up on a VPS so that other people could.
Got it. No, makes sense. And this is the last question. Just 1 second left. And it looks like we have...
If it's Keith, he says you could disqualify him because he knows all the answers too.
Ludo just came out of nowhere.
Ludo took the lead. Keith got the last question wrong. So Ludo taking the lead. Is there a Ludo in chat? Yes.
There is, yes.
Ludo, if you want to DM me your wallet address, I will get 50 BUSD sent over to you right after this AMA. But appreciate
he won't take it.
Appreciate you guys for playing. Super awesome to be able to learn about Alchemy Trades and actually get a reward for taking your knowledge that you learned in the AMA and applying it to a quiz right away. So super neat.
I have probably the most important question that hasn't been asked overall, and I just thought about it. So you all have like a really good website, but I think the next big one is, when are y'all going to get merch? Because this looks like a really merchandisable, is that a word? Merchandisable? A brandable? When are we going to see
That's a good idea.
We need
I don't know. That's a good idea.
Well, I know some people, so I'll reach out to some people. But I mean, why not? If people want it, I have no problem doing it. It just I don't love the idea of not love the idea. I don't ever want anyone to feel forced to give me money in any way. Like I feel weird asking for. I mean, I know that I should ask for money for the bot, but I still feel weird at times doing that because I love doing this. This is what I do for this is. I mean, this is my job is Alchemy Trades. This is all I do. So I sit at my computer 12, 18 hours a day coding. Serge has heard, you've seen me where I've worked 18 hours straight coding. I just love doing this.
Yeah, it's not even voluntary. We've locked him in a cage. He just has to code. until he, it's the only way he gets food.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think I sure as heck would not be locked in a cage coding for 18 hours a day. That's is not my forte, but I know some people just absolutely love it. I'm not a developer by any stretch. It's interesting.
We got a thing in the chat, Zach. So Ludo. Oh, Ludo, I know Ludo. Ludo works with Murdoch in his Discord. Shout out to Ludo. He said make sure Shadow Analysis, which on here he came in second, gets the $50 instead of Ludo. So shout out to Ludo for being an awesome person.
Yeah, very, very generous. I will make sure I do that. I appreciate you, man. If you guys are down, we still have a few community questions. If you guys want to answer those.
Yeah, no, I mean, I absolutely love talking about my bot and bots in general. So, I mean, I could talk for hours.
Yep.
So you tell me when to stop.
Plus, I want to see the best question of the AMA still. So yeah, we need more.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes. So Search has to, if anyone doesn't know or didn't read the announcements, Search is going to pull the best question, and we're giving away a license.
Yeah.
Yep, a $500 license for the best question.
Yes, we got a license at stake right now. So ask your questions, guys. The Cuff asks, is there a referral system?
Yes, there is. So the way it works right now is anybody you refer that buys, we give you 50. We pay predominantly out in BUSD, but it's pretty simple. When the person comes and opens up a ticket, we just ask that they let us know, and then obviously if they let us know after they forgot, within 24 or 48 hours, it's no big deal. I'm the person who generally manages the wallet, so I do all the payouts. We've had a lot of
money disappears in my wallet.
Yeah, Alchemy just checks his wallet at the end of the day. I pay him. It's fine.
Got
He's
it.
joking. That's actually how it works.
All right, next question from Raising Cane. How does the Alchemy bot handle huge downswings, like 90% down?
So we have a optional stop loss function. So right now it's an optional stop loss function, just a generic one. If your bottom grid is, again, I just use the example of 30, 20, and AVEX. You can set your stop loss at $9.90. But we are going to implement a one for these more volatile tokens that's a trailing stop loss. So if anyone doesn't know what that is, trailing stop loss is a stop loss that it's constantly progressing up based on when the price goes up. So if let's say you set it to 10%, whatever the highest the token has been since you started it, 10% down would be where your stop loss is. But yeah, it's one of those that you can't completely, you can't completely take away from it. But our stop losses, I will say, do, without going super braggy, they're more accurate and more reliable than a bog swap or something like that, because we're getting the price every 3 seconds. Like the minute another block comes out, you have the price, and the minute that price is checked, it will put a sell order in. And our stop losses put through at anyone that doesn't know how the blockchain works. You can increase your gas that you're going to use on a trade. It pushes through your trade faster. But your gas is also refunded for what you don't use. So if you put through a large amount and it doesn't use all of it, it doesn't take that large amount. So we push it through with a large amount and a high slippage tolerance to get that trade through as fast as you can if you hit a stop loss.
A stop loss is still a loss, right? But it's not as bad as if you accidentally rode the thing to zero. And this is going to come down to personal preference. I typically don't do a stop loss when trading stable coins, things paired to USDC, like AVEX USDC, because I think AVEX is going to come back, and I'd rather just buy it cheap. But there are a lot of coins that I don't know what they are. I don't know if they're going to be around tomorrow. And obviously you would put stop loss on those.
Got it. Makes sense. Next question is from Render. Yes, as far as I've seen, you don't do any active marketing other than Twitter. Is there anything planned for this in the future?
No. I mean, just because I mean, yes, in the sense that if something pops up, like an AMA like this pops up, something like that. But I don't believe in spending money on marketing. Like I said earlier, I could tell you this is the best spot in the world. Surge could tell you the best spot in the world. But when you hear it from me versus hearing it from, if you look through the chat and just see everyone talk about all their success with it, or go into our chat and see the people talking about success with it, that to me is the greater marketing than me just putting out a sign that says, "Hey, look, we have a bot."
Yeah, definitely. We want to focus on building the community and making the community successful. And I think like referrals and word of mouth is always going to carry more weight than a flashy ad. That being said, we are doing little things. Some people might not be aware. As you mentioned earlier, Dex Caliber was named by the community. Well, our bot, the trading bot itself, doesn't have a name. So we just, in Alchemy Trades, we're like, hey, the bot did this, that, and the other. So we have a naming contest going on right now, and it's right now on Twitter. If you go to our Twitter and you put your suggested name in with hashtag name the bot, name that bot, we're collecting those, and then we're going to vote in the Discord as well. And ultimately, someone's going to win it, and they're either going to get $200 off a license, or if you're already an alchemist, you have the option of just taking 200 BUSD, and walking away with a tidy profit. So we do things like that. I think it's always going to be predominantly community driven, but I'm not saying no. I just think that's our focus.
Got it. Makes sense. No.
We got a really good question here, Zach. By shout out to one of our Cardinal crew members. All right, we're going to shamelessly plug that real quick. If you do want to become a Cardinal crew member, I'm going to put that in the chat right now, where it gives you the benefits and stuff. But one of our crew members, they said, is the VIP killer, they said, is it best to leave the bot running for a long period of time or stop it, close out profits, and move on to a different range? What are your all's personal opinions on that?
Yeah, so again, it depends on the token. Again, if it's a degen token that you know nothing about, I wouldn't go to sleep with that thing running, just because I'd rather have the guaranteed realized profits and wake up in the morning still having them versus lost it all in the night. But when I'm trading AVAX USDC, I've had that bot running for 4 weeks now.
Yeah, weeks.
Weeks. Yeah, I mean,
uptime is measured
the
in
optimal
weeks.
way to the optimal way to use a grid trading is to just continuously let it run, because you're getting all those interplay trades with the volatility, and those, again, they're small 2, 3, 5, 6 cent profits. But if I'm doing that 40 times an hour and I've been running the bot for four weeks, those add up quite significantly, and you get to the point where the AVAX may be down 1% on the day, but because of my realize, I'm still up 5% because I've been up 6% total in that time frame.
Actually, I really like this question, by the way. This might be my favorite one so far. But also that leads into when we talk about reliability and survivability. So if you're running this at home or wherever and your internet goes out, it will wait till your internet comes back. If your RPC goes down, for those people who are tracking what an RPC is, right? It allows you to talk to the blockchain. We're building in multiple RPCs in version 4. So if one went down, you could continue trading. So that level of survivability is there. Not just because we want our product to be quality, but also, just as Alchemy had said, a lot of grid trading is over time. Incremental buys and sells over time add up.
Well, I'm just, because I shared my results earlier. I think we need to trademark the Cardinal effect or something, Zach, because we've had previous AMAs with previous projects, and it's just been crazy price action out of nowhere. Well, today, as we've been doing this AMA, there's just been crazy price action on a particular pair, and through this whole AMA using Alchemy, I got $100 just realized profit. So it's
there you go.
It's all right, so great. Awesome. Well, I'm going to start sharing my pairs with you then.
That's awesome. That's super awesome. We'll go with just a couple more questions. We got another Cardinal crew member. He asks, do you provide training for new license holders? I mean, structured training, maybe with videos.
So Pocket Aces is doing a very good job. He has videos out already and is continuing to make new videos for us, based on what the community is struggling with or what they need with. On top of that, we are, it's a little bit harder now because there's so many of them, but we host, demos in our chat where we'll set it up with a whole group of people that need help. Or Serge in the past has, jumped on a video call with someone and been like, okay, let's walk through this one by one. And our apothecaries are all very well versed in how it works. We're the community in general as a whole too will help you. Most of them know, oh, you have this error, it's because you didn't do this. You have this going on, it's because you didn't do this.
Yeah, and we have a community channel for bot setup questions, where you'll see a lot of the questions asked, over and over. But our community has been so awesome and so responsive, and I think it's because each one has been shown that level of like dedication, that support, and so in turn, they provide it to the newcomers. So it's been really awesome. It's just been really positive.
Yeah, I like that. And the fact that you guys are willing to go one-on-one and just helping people set up the bot, that I think that speaks volumes. That's phenomenal.
And
Well,
that's
I've been in
why the
IT.
community's, yeah, go ahead,
I was just going to say, I've been in IT for over 15 years. So, like, I get it, right? Like, it just happens. Sometimes you just need to see it. It's just easier to explain via a video or a screen share, than it is to try and, send a million messages back and forth. And so, yeah, we just want to communicate effectively. And if that's the easiest way, then sometimes that's what we do.
Yeah, I mean, that
yeah.
makes
And
a lot of
I was
sense.
going to point out that's making sure it's accessible and easy for everyone, is one of the reasons we went to this V4 approach. V3 was a complete command line interface. It worked fine. It's almost the same logic in the back end, but it's very intimidating for someone who just doesn't know very much about computers or doesn't feel computer savvy. So that's why we moved on to this V4. That's this complete front end. It's essentially a website. The bot is running a local server that you run on your computer that's hosting a website that you're interacting with, and everyone knows how to use a website.
Yeah. Plus, we got to make it look really cool.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And the last question I will go with it is another one from Render. He asks, will there be a AI/bot/algorithm which will automatically choose pair the grids and stop loss associated with that?
So I actually was going to make sure we talked about that one if you didn't. We are working on and I've been working on this for quite a while, some back-end testing. We've been getting what we've been calling the golden grid that we have to adjust a little bit to. But it's essentially, if you have any more grids than this, your profit, or like you don't lose more money, but the rate at which your money is increasing per grid, it starts to go down. So our thought process is to, once we have all this worked out and this math worked out, to have you put in the pair you want, and there will be a button that says suggest range, and it will put in, based on the past 4 days, this is the recommended range with the recommended grid numbers for the amount of money you are spending.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to look at, just as Alchemy said, the resistance levels and the support levels, then back tested with this golden grid, which shows you the peak of diminishing returns, like before you hit diminishing returns. And then obviously, as you plug in your investment level, we already have Profit Guard, which says, okay, at this range in your dollars, this is the maximum grids you can do. And so with that kind of knowledge, you can navigate it a little bit better, especially if you're newer to TA, or just newer to grid trading. And then also, I don't know that we'll ever have it fully automated. There's just a lot of factors there. But we're also looking at exactly what metrics are common across coins that are good for swing grid trading, the coins that swing back and forth. And by collecting those metrics and then measuring them, we can look at a pair and not just on a chart and say, hey, that looks like it's going to work, but also say, oh, actually, yeah, it meets this criteria, and therefore it's a good target. So that's kind of in the works too. There's still a lot of fiddling to go with that until we find it just right.
Got it. No, that's super awesome. And it makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure you don't want to release something unless you have it as close to perfect as you can get. So that makes sense. But who are we thinking has the best question? I know you said VIP Killer had a really good one. Render had quite a few pretty good ones as well.
Yeah, that's true. I definitely liked VIPs, but I think we should just I think we should vote maybe. What questions did you guys like?
I mean, are we between VIP and Render? Is that the two that we're thinking between?
I could drop both their names and then we vote with emojis.
Or we could just give away 2 licenses. I don't care.
They said,
do it.
Yeah,
awesome.
we've been known to be spicy before, and you know what? Like those were good questions, and yeah, so why not? Why not? Let's get connected. I guess come into our Discord and open up a ticket and say, hey, this is Render. I was in the Cardinal AMA. This
Yeah,
is VIP.
if you guys will just send Serge and I the names just so we make sure we have the right ones.
Yeah, so we don't get flooded with Renders and VIPs.
Yeah.
But yeah, jump on the server, send us, open a ticket. We'll get you a license.
That's awesome. Again.
Nah,
very,
that's awesome.
very generous. Appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, this has been awesome. I appreciate you guys hopping on and chatting about Alchemy Trades with us. And the audience was a phenomenal turnout. 70 people at one point. So to me, it's very humbling. I know I say this like every single AMA that I'm in, but to see 70 people tune in for over an hour of their day to hear what we have to say, I mean, that is very humbling. I appreciate it so much. So I'm never going to take that for granted.
Yeah, no, we appreciate having us on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
You guys as well. I'm going to go take a nap.
All right.
Have a good day, guys.